Welcome to Earthtide Studios. I'm Zach Knight, and in today's video we're going to be running through the basics of vocal mixing. Vocal mixing can really be influenced by the style of the genre of the song or the producer that you're working with. There's many ways to approach vocal mixing, but in this particular video I'm going to be teaching you my approach. I'm also really happy to let you know that we are now currently offering a free vocal production course which will teach you the basics of recording all the way to mixing for vocals. So if you want to grab that, you can just click the link below for now. Also, we're providing you with the free stems, the raw multi-tracks as well, for the color and shade cover of Youngblood by 5 Seconds of Summer. So if you want to grab that to practice your mixing, you can just click the link below and grab that now. Without further ado though, let's get stuck into the video. Basics of vocal mixing. Now this song we're running through is The Devil's Cry. It's a production that I got to do earlier in the year and had a lot of fun. We're going to run through some clean vocals and some aggressive vocals, but for now, let's just have a listen to the vocals with the track.
I want you to take a look at me and tell me honestly what you see. Am I a fallen angel or a devil that's come to the surface? Peer through my soul and you will see that I am banished completely. Celestial synergy resides and lives within me.
So as you can hear, there's quite a lot of stuff going on there, and there's a few extra cool vocal things that happen in the choruses and the bridge as well. Now this is just the main vocal, so I'll show you what it sounds like on its own.
I want you to take a look at me and tell me honestly what you see.
Very beautiful vocal, you know, it's got quite a lot of expression in there, and the vocalist Josh, who did this one of the best vocalists I know, so really stoked with how this ended up coming out. So we'll have a listen to the raw vocal first.
I want you to take a look at me and tell me honestly what you see.
So, you know, there's a little bit of editing, a little bit of tuning on that there, but not too much going on. This is my chain we're working on here. So we'll start off, I've got virtual mix rack going on. So let's just bypass everything else. We'll have a look what's going on here. First thing I'm running through is just the virtual channel. I've got it through the Brit 4KG, just getting a little bit of saturation going on there, and the drive's turning up there. We'll turn it off.
I want you to take a look at me and tell me honestly what you see. Am I a fallen angel or a devil that's come to the surface?
So it's just adding a little bit of saturation there, but not really that much. Now we'll look at the EQ here. So I'm rolling off just under 90 hertz here. We're also getting rid of a little bit of the mud here at about 190. And we're also getting rid of a little bit of harshness here, about 1.6K. And also a little bit more harshness just underneath 4K and a bit of a high shelf as well. So let's just listen to it without that EQ and with.
I want you to take a look at me and tell me honestly what you see. Am I a fallen angel or a devil that's come to the surface?
So let's dissect that a little bit. So you can see that, you know, it sort of sounds a bit like you're sort of taking a blanket off the vocals when you sort of, you know, bypass that EQ on and off. And that's probably the most important thing I would say about getting a good vocal in, you know, sort of that clear kind of clean vocal you're looking for in, well, really any style, is just making sure that you make the right EQ moves first before you do anything else. So we'll have a listen to it. We'll just take off what's going on here with the vocal stuff one at a time. So we'll take off this stuff down here. So we've got...
I want you to take a look at me.
That's really boosting
and tell me honestly what you see. Am I a fallen angel or a devil that's come to the surface?
It's kind of that muddiness that's sort of sitting down the bottom that is you're hearing there. I'll do it again.
I want you to take a look at me and tell me honestly what you see. Am I a fallen angel?
It sounds a little thin when you do it, but it sort of translates much better in the mix, but getting rid of those unwanted frequencies. Now let's have a look at this harshness here.
I want you to take a look at me and tell me honestly what you see.
So that's kind of like that radio-y kind of frequency that you hear in vocals, that you're wanting to get rid of that if you want to have the vocal nice and smooth.
Am I a fallen angel or a devil that's come to the surface?
It makes quite a dramatic difference. All right, let's look at this other frequency up here.
Am I a fallen angel or a devil that's come to the surface?
So that's kind of more of that sort of piercing kind of vocal that you hear. Frequency that you hear in the vocal. It's very undesirable. I mean, it's going to make the vocal a lot more heard, but it doesn't really smooth out that tone much. Let's have a listen to it again.
Honestly, what you see? Am I a fallen angel or a devil that's come to the surface? Peer through my soul and you will see.
Smooths it up just a bit. And now we've got just this nice little high shelf up here, so I'll take it off.
Honestly, what you see? Am I a fallen angel or a devil that's come to the surface?
So it really just lifts the vocal a bit. Okay, so we're moving on to compression now. So let's have a look at what we've got here. So I'm just running an 1176 style compressor here, and we're basically running here with sort of a medium attack, pretty fast release, 4:1, which is my usual go-to ratio for vocals of most styles. Aggressive vocals, sometimes I'll do a higher ratio, but usually not. And we're sort of looking for between 5, maybe 10, but usually sort of 5 to 7 dB of compression. So let's have a look here.
Me and tell me honestly what you see. Am I a fallen angel or a devil that's come to the surface?
I'll just turn it off again.
Me and tell me honestly what you see. Am I a fallen angel or a devil that's come to the surface?
So it's that classic 1176 kind of sound. I mean, it basically just sort of really tightens up the vocal. It gives it a little bit of sort of, sort of punch, but it's very minor. The compressor is very transparent, but really what it does is it just evens out that sort of volume for you, like you're looking for a good clear vocal compressor, which is what you're going to get with an 1176 most of the time. We've also got running the air here. Now this is really only very minor. It's just adding a little bit of sheen across the whole vocal, so we'll have a sus on that one.
Am I a fallen angel or a devil that's come to the surface?
Just a little bit there. All right, so now we're going to run and do some de-essing here. So I just usually run FabFilter Pro DS here.
Peer through my soul and you will see that I am banished completely. Celestial synergy resides and lives within me.
So as you can see, it's really just getting rid of the S's and the T's a little bit there. It's, just doing any de-esser will really do that job. I like Pro DS because it's really easy to see what you're doing, but you can get the same thing out of any of the Waves de-essers that are available as well, or, the one from Slate. Really, any de-esser will do the job for you. Now, let's move on to some secret sauce here. Now, this is Soothe. I sort of managed to get myself Soothe 2 only a couple months ago, which is when I was doing the mix for this particular song, and it was very, very useful because there isn't another plugin out there really like Soothe. So let's see what Soothe is doing.
I want you to take a look at me and tell me honestly what you see. Am I a fallen angel or a devil that's come to the surface?
Turn it off.
Peer through my soul and you will see that I am banished completely. Celestial synergy resides and lives within me.
So as you can see, it's not really doing any dramatic moves. It's really just doing minor cleanup of the frequencies that are resonating in the track, versus just leaving it just with the EQ moves as it is. Running Soothe after you've done your de-essing and after you've done your main EQ is quite useful because what it means is it sort of cleans up those end bits. All right, now we've just got a little bit more EQ cleanup here.
I want you to take a look at me.
Just a bit of mud.
And tell me honestly what you see? Am I a fallen angel or a
That
devil?
resonant frequency that's sort of coming up there and
Devil that's come to the surface.
just sucking out a little bit more of the radio frequency. Sometimes I find that I'll always put FabFilter Pro Q on after I've done my main moves here, just to see if there's anything else that's sort of lingering. And it's usually, I mean, the big move here is 2 dB, so it's really not very much that you're doing here. Now, we're going to move on to the next level of compression. Now, this is actually quite a large move here using CLA 2A, and I'm really squashing it down with this particular compressor. It's actually adding a little bit of saturation as well because it's the 2A style compressor, and it's a really good way to sort of add a little bit more harmonic reinforcement, but also compressing the vocal down and sort of keeping it in a really even structure, across the waveform. So let's have a look at what it's doing before and after.
I want you to take a look at me and tell me honestly what you see. Am I a fallen angel or a devil that's come to the surface?
Turning it off.
Peer through my soul and you will see that I am banished completely.
So as you can see, it's actually quite a large move there, and it's really sort of cleaning up, any sort of volume discrepancies that were made with all of these EQ moves. And it's going to really give us that little bit of extra control with the vocal across, the whole thing. Because there's a lot of different dynamics that are going on here with ups and downs that he's doing pitch-wise. All right, so we're moving on to a little bit of saturation here with virtual tape. Now, I'm just running this one here. I've removed the noise reduction, which happens with virtual tape, which is, just a little thing that it does. And the hiss auto mute here. And the other main thing is I'm running it here on the 1.5 2-track and FG58 and 30 IPS. So we'll just have a look at that.
I want you to take a look at me and tell me honestly what you see. Am I a fallen angel or a devil that's come to the surface?
So the thing with virtual tape machine and sort of really not any but a lot of tape saturation is that in this particular case it's really just smoothing out that high end a little bit, sort of knocking off a little bit of peaks and adding a little bit of harmonic reinforcement that's sort of just blending the vocal a bit nicer. It's not absolutely necessary that you put tape saturation, but it certainly makes vocals sound a little bit more like it would if you were recording it, through analog gear, which is ideally the situation that many people would be in, but, we all don't have that money. So, and it does a great job. Now, here's something interesting that I've got going on here. This is actually my way of avoiding having to write too much vocal automation, because when you're actually listening to a really good mix, the thing that a lot of people don't know is that the vocal itself has a consistent volume, but there's actually quite a lot of minor little changes within the vocal volumes. So what this is doing is it's actually adjusting the vocal volume across the whole, the actual whole channel in real time, depending upon the setting that you've got. So have a listen.
I want you to take a look at me and tell me honestly what you see.
We'll turn it off.
I want you to take a look at me and tell me honestly what you see.
So the big thing that Vocal Writer is doing here is it's allowing the vocal to be a little bit more dynamic. Now, this is a choice that I choose to do in my mixes. A lot of people don't do Vocal Writer. They like to keep it more static. I think it just makes the song a little bit more lively. It makes the vocal a little bit livelier. And frankly, it just saves a lot of time. So these are the settings that I've got here. I don't let it go any higher than 2 dB up or 2 dB down, and very rarely does it even do that. The difference is anywhere between sort of 0.1 to 0.9 dB most of the time, so it's very minor, but it's more felt than heard, and it's just going to give you that little bit of extra difference in having your vocals sound a little bit more special in terms of the changes. Now, after that, we've just got a little bit of limiting going on here using L1.
I want you to take a look at me and tell me honestly what you see. Am I a fallen angel or a devil that's come to the surface?
It's really very subtle. Basically, all it's doing is just clamping down on that vocal, but, you know, at the most it's ever doing is sort of maybe 2 dB is a maximum, really not making a dramatic effect on the vocal. So let's turn it all off and on again. So off.
I want you to take a look at me and tell me honestly what you see. Am I a fallen angel or a devil that's come to the surface?
So it's a dramatic difference. And, you know, realistically, all of this could really be done, except for Sue's, most of it could be done with stock plugins from inside Cubase or whatever DAW you're using. But yeah, this is just how I do a lot of my clean vocal processing. Let's have a look at it now with all of the different effects I've got going.
I want you to take a look at me and tell me honestly what you see.
So as you can see, there's quite a lot of different things going on there. Now, I know that this particular artist wanted this vocal to be quite wet. Normally, I would have my vocals a little bit drier than this, but this is how I've got it going. In the session, I've got it set up where all of my vocal processing or effects processing is actually running through this effects bus, and I basically have them all here as effects sends, which are all being run through from the tracks. So we'll have a look at that now. So in the track here itself, we've got a stereo delay. Now, so let's have a look at that now. Over here, I'm just using Verb Suite Classics. It's on the FG6000, just the rich vocal setting there, fully wet, and driving the width a little bit there on that one. So let's have a quick listen now.
Peer through my soul and you will see that I am banished completely. Celestial synergy resides and lives within me.
And we'll check out the long reverb as well. So let's go to that one there, which is also Verb Suites. On the FG480, it's 1.8 seconds, so it's not that much longer, but it's probably going to be a little bit wetter.
'Cause I'm a fallen angel,
driving the width a lot,
and my wings are burned to
bringing
the
the highs
core.
down.
Am I a fallen angel or a fucking surface devil?
All right, and other than that, we've just got another smaller plate reverb here. This one's 1.26 seconds, but this one's a Brocasti one, so it's going to sound a little bit different again on that vocal. And we've got some filtering on this one here, even more filtered as well. So let's have a listen to what that one sounds like now.
I want you to take a look at me and tell me honestly what you see.
It's quite nice. And I've also got a nice little slap delay as well, running on with Echo Boy.
Am I a fallen angel or a devil that's come to the surface?
So this one is, you know, it's much tighter, really, really minimal feedback going on here. And it's sort of just giving it that sort of slapback kind of vibe again. So let's listen to that vocal again with all of the effects on.
I want you to take a look at me and tell me honestly what you see.
So as you can see, there's a lot of different stuff going on there with that vocal. So now we're just going to skip over what we've got going on here with the backing vocals. Realistically, it's pretty much the same chain going on here. And what I do is just for different parts here, I've got double of 4 voices coming in for some more affected kind of stuff. And then I also put an extra reverb on there as well sometimes when I want to make it pushed a little bit harder to sort of in the back, along with a nice 8th delay here using H delay. And my favorite way of filtering, which is the CLA Filter Vox setting, which I managed to find the idea of using this one from Tyler Smith, an incredible producer. And I basically just get rid of the EQ changes and then leave it as is. So that's what I'm sort of doing with my main vocal and my backing vocal. As for the harmonies, really most of the processing is happening on the bus. It's not that dissimilar to what I'm doing with the other vocals as well. And basically the only real difference is I'm just adjusting different frequencies within the scope of that there that's appropriate to the harmony, and doing some of the removal of the de-essing there, touching up a few other frequencies that are sort of not as desirable. And really just the main thing that you're doing here with these is I'm filtering out the vocals themselves and compressing them a lot harder. So you can, as you can tell, it sounds like a lot more sort of compressed, and the frequency scope that's being used for the harmonies is not nearly as large because I want the main vocal to sit hardest. So that's pretty much what we're doing there with the majority of the vocal processing across the song. I will run into more detailed vocal mixing in some future things that we get going on. But for now, this is pretty much the deal that's going on with basic vocal mixing here. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of stuff going on here. We'll just have a listen to the chorus just so you know we can sort of gauge just how far this song goes.
Oh, I can feel it inside. This devil may cry. This demon takes over the night. You can't fight this tide, so stay alive. I'm bleeding, and my soul's on fire.
So as you can see, there's a lot of cool stuff going on there with the song, and I will definitely run through some more detail with that kind of mixing, including how to chant vocals and group vocals, as well as some of these larger sort of background chorusy vocals as well for some future videos. But for now, this is the basics of vocal mixing. Thank you for tuning in. All right, guys, thanks for sticking with me through this video, which was my approach to vocal mixing. I hope you enjoyed it. We have some previous videos as well, which teach you the basics of recording, tuning, and editing your vocals. So if you want to check them out, you can. If you've got any comments, please just hit us up below. Otherwise, get in touch with us through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or the contact form on our website. And of course, if there's anything else that you'd like to see in videos from us as well, just let me know. Otherwise, until then, take it easy.